started. And I want to welcome everybody from all over the world. I'm going to put up this introductory slide for the presentation. And this is a program overview for the postgraduate program in Lean Six Sigma from the University of Massachusetts Amherst Eisenberg School of Management. Simplilearn, my company, is the delivery partner for UMass, and my name is Stuart Creek. I am here with Brian Campbell of Seven Seas Consulting, who is also one of our senior instructors. Brian, you can tell the folks about yourself.
Sure, happy to. So welcome everyone. So Brian Campbell. I have been working with Simplilearn now for, going on 7+ years. I've had a lot of opportunity, not just delivering courses and content, but developing a lot of the material. My background is primarily in project program management with a lot of agile transformation. And that includes leveraging techniques like Lean Six Sigma. So really excited to be here and looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you. And our conversation is going to cover, we're going to be asking a few questions along the way about you and the audience, but we'll talk about why Lean Six Sigma is something worth pursuing, what this program offers, how it prepares you, and then we'll also talk a little bit about past learners and their successes and some of the things that the program offers you to assist you in your success. And we'll cover enrollment steps after the Q&A. So let's talk about why Lean Six Sigma, Brian.
Great.
What can you tell us about Lean Six Sigma and the associated disciplines around it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a really exciting area. One of the more important emphases of this space is actually looking for ways in which we can increase efficiency and therefore our output and outcomes, but also looking for ways to reduce waste. A big part of Lean is looking for sources of waste, finding ways in which we can remove that. Six Sigma is going to leverage a lot of statistical analysis where we look at very large data sets so we can understand what's contributing to things like maybe defect rates, or there are places that we feel that there's some bottlenecks constraining our processes. So you're going to hear a lot about those topics, as well as techniques like DMAIC, which stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control. And that's a whole methodology that comes into play when we're thinking about how do we continuously improve the way in which we deliver value as an organization.
Yeah, and Lean Six Sigma evolves out of the quality movement that really started at the end of World War II, and the history is fascinating because people who were called whiz kids, who were mostly executives from Ford Motor Company, had helped the U.S. defense industry during the war. And after the war, when the United States occupied Japan, one of the challenges that occupying power had was issuing propaganda to the people. So they wanted Japanese people to own inexpensive radios, so to receive broadcasts. Well, the issue was, how do you produce these high volume, low cost, and with good quality? So they brought over a couple of guys from West named Deming and Duran to help consult with Japanese industry on how to improve quality in manufacturing. They came up with some concepts like quality is free, meaning that if you pay attention to quality in manufacturing up front, you'll spend much, much less on repairs and product returns on the back end. So they were extremely successful. Japanese industry embraced them with great enthusiasm, less so American industry, because American industry could sell anything it made. It was the state of the world economy at that point. American industry was pretty much all that was left at a certain point in the 1950s. But Japanese effort for quality transformed Made in Japan from what in the 1950s had been a mark of inferior quality to, in the 1970s, a mark of very superior quality. And once the Japanese automobile manufacturers especially started taking market share from the US, suddenly the notion of quality in manufacturing and what were called Japanese manufacturing quality techniques took hold in the United States. But really, they came originally from the United States. It's just that the profits were not heard in their own land. So this is where our effort toward quality really took a big push in the 1980s and evolved into statistical process control, Lean Six Sigma, and a number of the other techniques that we're looking at today. So that's a brief history lesson, but it gives you an idea of how deep rooted this pursuit is. And the demand for quality management continues to soar because, again, as we say, quality is free is a mantra that a lot of companies still haven't fully absorbed even this late in the stage. But as more and more understand the value of it, demand for quality managers increases. So it's a lucrative field. In the United States, I don't have the statistics here for India or other parts of the world, but Glassdoor shows the salary range for quality managers from 66K at the very entry level to 159K at the top end, with 100K being the average. So it's a good paying field. And what I'd like to do is ask you, what is stopping you from taking Lean Six Sigma certification? You're all here because you're interested in doing that, in finding out more about Lean Six Sigma and finding out about this program. So what's kept you from doing this up till now? And you can pick more than one of these reasons. I'm going to leave this open for another 5 seconds from now. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit the submit button, and really the main concern people have in our audience today is feeling that, concerned they do get the practical exposure they need to become job ready, to demonstrate their new skills, as well as finding a comprehensive curriculum and finding a program that fits in their life schedule. So we're going to be talking about this program, which is the postgraduate program in Lean Six Sigma from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, the Eisenberg School of Management. And it's done in conjunction with KPMG, which is one of the powerhouse consulting firms in the world. And it's a comprehensive curriculum. We'll get into that in a little bit. It features hands-on projects so that you're not just learning academically about these skills, but you're practicing them and demonstrating them and building a portfolio of examples. It features online live virtual classrooms on the same online platform that you're doing your coursework on, so that you can learn from instructors like Brian. You can ask them questions, get their feedback, answer their quizzes and questions live, and the rest of the time, other than the scheduled classes with the live instructors, you can do on your own time, anytime, 24/7 during the week. So we figure that if you can devote 10 hours a week or so to the program for 6 months, it fit into your lifestyle, your schedule. Brian, did you have a comment on how this program works for your students?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of things I noticed in the poll, there's some folks that expressed a little concern saying, hey, will I have the practical experience that can demonstrate I have these skills? And what makes, I think, this particular program really impactful is it is so centered on giving you practical real world experience. Your instructors are going to come in, people like myself, we're going to bring real world experience into the discussions and the training sessions. You're going to get a chance to kind of work in these very current, contemporary projects and apply these skills to kind of help you build out a meaningful portfolio that you can use to demonstrate that not only do you understand these concepts, but you really know how to apply them and get results from them. So yeah, I think those are really important. I love the fact that we've got not just engagement with your instructors, but actually your peer group, the others coming in, the cohort of other participants. So it really makes it for a really powerful collaborative learning experience, which I think is a big highlight of the
I'm
program.
going to interrupt you for a second,
Sure.
Brian. My Zoom is going to
Oh,
kick me out. I'll be back. So
okay. Yeah. Yeah. So
this happens as you know.
it's just always the timing, right? So as we wait for Stuart to rejoin or get a Zoom situation addressed. So a couple things just want to highlight too. I think some folks who expressed some
Recording in
concern
progress.
about, how will this fit my schedule? What I particularly like about this program is it is really designed to fit the schedule of professionals, those of us that not only are busy working, but maybe have families and other responsibilities we need to attend to. So a lot of flexibility in how you can both take and engage the course, how you learn and apply and work on your different projects. So some important highlights there. So are you back, Stuart?
I am back. I
Awesome.
hope you can see the
Yep.
screen. And so at the end of the program, you receive a certificate. You'll also receive a certificate from KPMG. And this attests that you've completed the core courses of the program, and we'll go over what those are. But this is UMass Amherst telling the world that you have completed this program successfully. And as Brian and I have pointed out, you'll have examples to back that up. You'll also receive 3 credits if you want to go into an online MBA program with the Eisenberg School of Management. You can receive 3 elective credits toward your degree from completing this program. You'll also be able to join the UMass Amherst Alumni Association in order to network and continue with your professional development with your peers, and you'll be prepared to get certified in Lean Six Sigma both at the green belt and black belt levels. I'm going to tell you a little bit about UMass Amherst, which is a 130-year-old public university in the U.S. It's one of the top universities in the United States, and its School of Management was founded in 1947, tying back into that post-World War II burst of energy around management and scientific management. And this postgraduate program, as I mentioned, gives you the certificates, access to master classes with their faculty, the Alumni Association membership, and the green belt and black belt preparation. One of the great things about this is that you will have on your resume UMass Amherst, and people recognize that name as, again, one of the top public universities in the United States and one of the top universities in the world. So we're very proud to be their delivery partner. And we're also proud that KPMG is part of this program. So KPMG India specifically will be participating with this program and providing master classes and Ask Me Anything, and also working with you in the capstone project for the end of the program. So this is a great opportunity to learn from people with industry experience, insights into industry needs. But of course, all of our instructors are people who we draw from industry as well. So do you have a perspective on the cohort of instructors in this program, Brian, people that you work with?
Yeah, well, I think as you kind of highlighted, what makes this program, I think, again, very impactful, is it's not just sort of an academic undertaking. You're getting an opportunity to connect with folks like myself who work actively with customers and clients. So we're very aware of what's going on in terms of industry trends and effective practices and techniques. KPMG, of course, is world recognized as one of the most impactful consulting companies available. And I mean, they're really in the thick of all the disruptions you hear about, all the chat GPT and, switch to renewable energy. So they bring so much into the conversation just by virtue of the fact they're working with the companies, the organizations that are, really pushing the boundaries in a lot of these areas. So I think it's a great partnership, and I think complementing it with the Simplilearn structure and its experience working with adult learners in particular really kind of blends these together really effectively.
Thank you. And we'll talk now about how the program functions, how it prepares you. So Brian and I will take you through this step-by-step skills development. The induction session is pretty straightforward. That's where you learn how to use the learning management system, where to find your courses, how to get registered for the next course in your sequence, where to take tests, do projects, get completion certificate for each of these modules, culminating in the final completion certificate after the capstone project. So all of that basic freshman orientation is that induction session. Then you move into lean management. So what are the types of things that you're going to talk about in lean management? What are folks going to learn in there?
Yeah, so lean management is really going to emphasize how do we find ways to reduce waste? What are the things that are contributing to delays, to defects? So lean management is a combination of both not just identifying where we might have sources of waste that need attention, but techniques in which we can reduce and eliminate those. It's sort of just a truism. All organizations have opportunities to get better. They have waste. And if we can find ways to reduce that, it just increases our throughput and frankly affects the bottom line. So a lot of organizations very interested in understanding what can they do to reduce waste and get leaner as an organization.
Yep. And that harkens back to that mantra of quality is free. That's
right.
That evolved into lean management as people realized that the sources of waste in an organization aren't just the quality of the product and defects in manufacturing, but then there's also all of the other places where time or effort is wasted, or where processes are not laid out efficiently, or where some tasks that have been done for historical reasons are no longer necessary, that type of thing. So there's lots and lots of opportunities, and this is really a fertile field for learning new skills. Minitab is the next element of the program. And can you tell us a little bit about the use of Minitab?
Sure. Minitab is a tool. It's a statistical tool. So where it's very strong is it pulls in a lot of data, and then you've got all sorts of different mechanisms in which you can identify trends. You can see some of the averages and different ways in which you want to understand how well is a process working. What are our thresholds that we have, the upper and lower control limits for a process and its deviations. So Minitab is sort of a very powerful tool. Think of it as sort of Excel on steroids. Really important for anyone that needs to kind of dig into the details of a process. So, and this is particularly important when we're dealing with manufacturing settings. I see someone ask a question, is there application to industries like aerospace, transit, auto? Definitely. In fact, this is really where a lot of these techniques came from. We heard, Stuart, you're talking about sort of this Japanese influence on this. And there's the Toyota production system, which really captured a lot of these ideas and concepts, is in the auto industry space, aerospace, transit, where we got lots of transactions, lots of things being built. very fertile ground, as you pointed out, for doing some of this deeper analysis. So Minitab's going to be really critical to kind of help with that.
Yep. Then you move into becoming prepared for your Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification, which is the first one. I actually have a Green Belt from some years ago, and so that's the foundational certification for Lean Six Sigma. Can you tell us a little bit about what that entails?
Yeah, so both the green belt, black belt are sort of different levels within your Six Sigma certification journey. The green belt level, as you might expect, is sort of your initial introduction. It's going to really test to ensure that you understand the fundamentals between Six Sigma, some of the techniques and practices. We'll also get a chance to kind of apply these in a real world setting using real data, real information. And then as we progress up to the black belt, we're actually kind of extending that even further, getting deeper into a solution set. So again, having not just the academic background on what these techniques are, but having coaches and instructors available to help you build out your case studies and show how to effectively apply these techniques is a really important part of this whole journey that we've got mapped out.
Great. Along the way, before we talk about the capstone project, you notice there are electives along the right-hand side, and these are at no additional cost. These are things that you can take based on your level of interest and your commitment. So you can take the module on digital transformation and how that applies to changes in organizations and operations that can use digital technology to reduce waste. You'll look at Lean Six Sigma in healthcare, Lean Six Sigma applications in information technology, get master classes from KPMG executives, managers. So all of those are based on your level of interest, no additional cost to you in the program. But all of this culminates in the capstone project. And capstone project is where you tie together everything you've learned into one final project to solve an industry-based problem. Can you, Brian, kind of describe how that capstone project module works?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly the way you described it. This is the point in which we tie it all together. And again, the partnership with KPMG really helps with this. They're going to bring very current, very contemporary problems that organizations and industries are seeing. You're going to get a chance to kind of apply all the skills, techniques, and the tools that you've been learning through the program. You're going to bundle that together into this reference project. And again, this is something you can not just use to apply your skills and kind of show that you really know how to get the most from these techniques, but it's something you can showcase to your existing or a potential employer and prove that, you not only know this, but you can demonstrate how to get results from it.
Excellent. So that addresses the concern that people have about having that practical experience, because as you talked about before, this is something you take with you at the end of the process and show how you've applied these new skills that you've gotten, not just the fact that you've gotten them, but how you use them. And that includes doing the various projects that apply these different frameworks and tools. Some of these are learning about environment or framework or the kind of techniques around quality management, Lean Six Sigma, project management, and then some of these are actual digital tools that you apply during the projects, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The items on the left, think of these as sort of, as you pointed out, process frameworks, DMAIC, Agile, which is increasingly being embraced by organizations, industries across the globe. We've got the Project Management Institute, the PMI, and their PMBOK, which is the Project Management Body of Knowledge, and of course, Lean Six Sigma. The right-hand side, well, tools. things like Minitab that we already talked about, Jira, which is a really effective work management platform. Of course, our good friend Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Microsoft Project, really important for helping us organize how we're going to approach and solve some of these problems we're uncovering.
So in the course of this overall program, you will be applying each of these frameworks and tools and
Mm.
many others into your coursework as you do projects that are assigned for each of the modules and projects the end of the process. So, for example, here are some of the projects you do along the way. Um, Several examples you might, for Best Buy, the U.S. Discount electronics and appliance store, you look at how Lean Six Sigma works with their innovation initiatives. You look at the methodology to look at how you would improve the air preheater performance. You're looking at an actual challenge of how a product works and where you would look for opportunities to improve its performance and get it back to design values. You can look at lean operations in a service business, Caesar's Casinos, which is hospitality and entertainment. And you can look at improving the quality process for a nonprofit, um, such as the Akshaya Patra Foundation. So these are some examples of real world challenges that you'll be asked to look at how you would approach these problems and apply different tools and frameworks to come up with your solution. Uh, these are sprinkled throughout the different modules of the program. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. You'll get a chance to kind of get exposed to different problem sets like this, as you just highlighted. These are not just sort of real world problems, but they're from companies you should recognize. Companies you can say, yeah, those are marquee names that are known around the world, and it's again a real opportunity to kind of understand. Here's challenges they're facing. How can you use these techniques to address these challenges and problems?
And the idea also to give you an idea of the variety of industries and
Mhm.
environments that they can be used in. So we talked a little bit about the capstone, and again, the capstone lets you pick the project that interests you from 6 potential challenges, and you work on that for several weeks with weekly check-ins with your instructor. So um, again, can you kind of describe what that check-in process looks like?
Right, right. And that's a really important part of this because we don't want students kind of having to kind of work independently on this. We want to give them feedback. We want to make sure they're getting support and guidance as they kind of take these techniques, apply them. So the whole intent behind this, and as you pointed out, you get to choose. You find one of these 6 capstone projects that interest you. Maybe it's because you work in that space, that domain, or just something you're kind of interested in and want to learn a little bit more about. And once you begin that, you're partnering with your instructor, someone like myself, who's looking at what approach you're taking, the techniques, they're checking in with you, they're looking at your progress, giving you feedback so you can kind of really strengthen your capstone project response and really make it that showcase that you can bring with you when you want to look at maybe new opportunities. You can say, well, here's a demonstration of how I've applied these techniques and practices.
Yep, it's fairly much your final exam for the entire
Mhm.
program, and it's evaluated for credit. And here's a couple of examples out of the 6. You can look at in the telecommunications domain. You can look at GoToMeeting and their um, customer satisfaction initiatives to find out how they can improve customer satisfaction scores and reduce what's called DSAT, the dissatisfaction score. So where would you look in that for the challenges that are creating the dissatisfactions, and how would you and address those. And then on the other side, we have healthcare domain where a hospital needs to deal with a critical issue of time it takes to transport patients to the hospital and into care, which can be a matter of life and death. So,
Mhm.
you look at the application of Lean Six Sigma and processes around it. These are not just business challenges, these are challenges that have real impact on
Yeah.
human lives. So, um, there's, like I said, 6 different domains you can choose from. These are examples of it. Uh, I'm before I ask Brian to share his screen and take you through what the learning management system looks like. I want to mention the fact that we have um, several of the senior staff at UMass who are overseeing the program, who oversee the curriculum and its delivery, including Professor Robinson and Dr. Birch. And they make sure that this is a UMass Amherst program delivered by Simplilearn. So it's uh, it's how they manage to put their name on that certificate and attest to putting their reputation behind your education. So just wanted to point that out. Did you have any other comment about that, Brian?
Yeah, just the fact that you've got some of these most well-recognized industry thought leaders who you're going to get a chance to interact with, and who have been very instrumental in developing this course material and this whole learning journey here. So, yeah, I think this is great. Alan Robson, very well recognized, very well respected, and similarly, when we've got folks like Michelle Birch involved. I mean, this should give you a lot of confidence that you got some of the best and brightest
Yeah.
who are going to be spending time with you, kind of helping you learn these ideas and concepts.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to invite you, Brian, if you
Yeah.
have permission to do that.
Okay. Let's take a look. Yeah. So hopefully you can see my screen. Is that coming up for everyone? Okay. Yeah. So what we want to do is spend a little time talking about the learning management system that you'll be using when you're working in this program. So one of the real strengths of Simplilearn is that over its many years of delivering high quality adult learning on a huge range of different topics, is that they have developed, I think, one of the strongest, if not the best, learning management platforms that are available in the industry right now. So I've used this extensively. They put a great deal of time and effort in making sure that this is a very user-friendly, very intuitive system for you to access the information you need to support your learning needs. So you come to the site. We're going to spend a little time on UMN Business Analytics Bootcamp, just to give you a flavor of what the experience looks like. You'll see that when you come into your program, you'll have a collection of cards that essentially represent the different courses that you have. This is the core curriculum. So we saw Stuart spend some time kind of showing those stair steps that get you to the capstone project. You'd see the same things here. Each one of these are clickable. So we'll start with this introduction to data analytics. Everything in the platform uses a similar look and feel. So you're going to feel it, very familiar as you're navigating from course to course. Same layout makes it kind of easy to get around. Every one of the courses is supported by a video learning set of modules, just like you're seeing on the screen here. So this is kind of like having a virtual instructor right in front of you going through the content. On the right-hand side, you can see we can navigate across different lessons. Notice that we've got some progress bars that indicate how far along you've gone in those particular sections. So you've got lots of opportunities to kind of go back and maybe relearn or refamiliarize yourself with different pieces of information. Each one of the modules are also going to come with some kind of assessment that you can test your knowledge and how well you've retained what you've learned. And there are always reference materials. You can download the content that you're looking at if you prefer that learning style. I know sometimes I like to print things out and take some notes on them. Well, that's an option you have available. Don't forget that this platform is accessible not just through a PC or computer, but through your tablet, through your phone. So if you've got some time at work, maybe you got a lunch hour and you want to apply some of that time to kind of watching some of the videos, learning, you have that available as an option. So you'll get a chance to kind of track your progress through all the course offerings. In addition, these are all complemented by live courses that you can take. So of course, we all enjoy and get a lot of benefit from hearing an instructor talking directly to us. So those options are going to be available to you through the program. And there might be some circumstances, or maybe the schedule doesn't fit with you perfectly, or you just want to learn a little bit more independently. So you've got this mechanism that you can look at as well. We have the electives as well. You heard Stuart mention that in addition to the core curriculum, there's a collection of different master classes and other topics you can spend time with. So you'll find those in the electives section of the learning management system. And when you're all said and done, you'll get your access to different program certificates. So in addition to this certificate for the postgraduate program itself, you're getting a whole bunch of other companion certificates. So when you leave this program, you're going to have quite a bit to fill up both your resume and your LinkedIn profile that you can, again, showcase your skills and knowledge in these areas. Stuart, what else do you want me to spend a little time on?
Okay, let's talk about the community.
Great. Yeah, that's a really important place to spend a little bit of time. So Simplilearn has a very rich, very vibrant community that they have sort of nurtured over delivering tens of thousands of courses over the years of existence. So we can click on this community icon. It's going to bring you into the Simplilearn community. You've got a number of different forums. There will be one established for your cohort. So that basically means all the students joining in this particular program at the same time. You'll have one place that you can all access to post questions and help one another out as you're learning and studying. These are all monitored by not just our Simplilearn 7x24 customer support team, but the instructors and the learners and coaches that are part of the program. So you'll always have easy access to get some support and help if you need it. And it's also just a great place to kind of build that network of contacts, right? A really important part of your learning experience is connecting with some peers. And I found from 30 years ago when I got my MBA, still in touch with a lot of the people I got my MBA through. So this is a great place for you to invest some time and really build that sense of community as you're taking the program.
Yeah, and as you touched on it, the 24/7 support means that if you're working on a project at 3 o'clock in the morning because you happen to be up late and just decided this was a good time for you to do that work, and you run into some type of doubt or a blocker or a dead end, you have the ability to reach out to the Simplilearn support team. Even if your instructor may be asleep, somebody will be there to help you with the issue. So do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about in terms of the learning management system?
Well, I think the highlights for me is just the fact that this is a very intuitive, easy to navigate product. The other thing, all the content in it is very well and very highly produced. So you're going to really have, I think, a really positive learning experience. And then that's pulling not just from University of Amherst and its sort of proven track record, but also what Simplilearn has been doing for a very long time. So I think this makes it a really good place for people interested in kind of expanding and extending their career options as looking at this particular program.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on in the presentation here. So also, if Zoom kicks me off because I'm resharing my screen, I will be back. Does that sometimes, as we've already seen. So we're now looking at the eligibility and prerequisites for the program. You do, and here it goes. Here comes Zoom. I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh no. Yeah. So we've got a few questions that are popping into the
Sure.
chat about, can I get credit for these classes, etc. Definitely, a lot of these classes are going to be, if you've got an existing, for example, a PMP certification, yes, you can use this coursework for those credits, and you can absolutely use a lot of the courses you're taking if you want to take other programs in the future. So all of this that you're seeing right here is very sort of core and foundational for many other university colleges.
Okay, so while I'm still here, I'm going to go through this. You have a bachelor's degree is a requirement for this program. So it can be in any discipline. It does not have to be technological, digital discipline, or engineering discipline. You can come from a non-programming background, because anything you need to learn with respect to programming techniques or software, very little of that really in the this program, but the things you need to learn about using the tools will teach you. You do have to come in with at least 5 years of work experience. So this is a program for people who have been in formal work for some time. Typically people who've been out of university for 5 years working in industry. Although the 5 years of work experience can be in any field. So with that, I'm going to ask the question, how much experience do you have? Hopefully it won't kick me out in the middle of the poll. I'm going to leave this open for just another 10 seconds since it's pretty straightforward. I'll close in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the large majority of our audience are people with more than 5 years of experience, or almost to that level, and share that with you. Take a look at that. And for those of you who have less experience, there may be other programs or courses that you can take that will help you along your journey. This one in particular does have those prerequisites. So let's talk about past learners and their successes. This is something we're very proud of, because when you learn in this program, you're going to learn with cohorts of people coming in from other companies and from other industries. So you'll work alongside people from companies that, a smattering of those include Amazon, Intel, Shell Oil, AIG Insurance, Tata Consultancy, Accenture Consultancies, people coming from all different backgrounds, information technology, but also large cohort from manufacturing, from banking, financial institutions, consulting. Healthcare is actually the biggest sector, and then a whole range of other industries. So these are people, what do you see in the classes that you conduct, Brian, in terms of the variety of people and the backgrounds that they come from?
Right. You know what? It's interesting to bring that up, because you can see here, this has quite a pretty broad distribution. And first off, that's because this is applicable to every industry. And as you can see from some of the companies there, any large organization is going to be very interested in bringing in people with skills in Lean Six Sigma. Second part of this, though, is that that cohort that you'll be working with is going to bring their experiences from these other industries and other organizations, and that really kind of enriches the whole learning experience. I found it always kind of really refreshing. I tend to work a lot in the healthcare, oil and gas space, just the nature of the industries that I've been focusing on the last few years. So it's always really interesting when you hear, I'm someone who's got more of a manufacturing background, who's sharing some of their experiences, or someone's a little more IT oriented. So I think that kind of enriches the whole experience. And look at these names here. I mean, Amazon, Intel, Shell, Tata, Accenture. These are marquee organizations. These are all great companies to get opportunities with and to see your career grow within.
Yep. And just to clarify, because you mentioned large companies, it's the medium and small companies also need
Sure.
uh, efficiency.
Maybe,
Startups,
maybe more so. You're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a few testimonials. You can see more of these on our website. But for now, I just wanted to point out, Kieran, who was extremely happy with the training that he received and the curriculum, the staff support. We have Hemia, who is looking to leverage this to improve his career. We have Rosemary, who earned PMI ACP certification, learned about Minitab and digital transformation, and also earned her green belt and black belt certificates. So she's very excited. Um, Here's M. Aditya, who completed the program and earned a 30% salary hike within
Mm.
his current organization. So that's the kind of results that we hope that we will help you achieve through this program. Do you have any other C stories from students, Brian?
Yeah, you know what? I think this really sums it up. I mean, there's two parts of this. One is most of the participants, learners, they just enjoy learning. They've kind of expanded their horizons. They have new knowledge that can be really fulfilling. But let's face it, look at Adisha, 30% increase in your salary. Like, who isn't going to be happy with that?
Right.
That's sort of a nice return on that investment.
Yeah. To help you achieve that, one of the things that Simplilearn provides, in addition, as part of this program, specifically in India and in the U.S., we don't currently offer it outside of those countries, but we are working on that. But within those countries, we do offer you job assist services through IIM Jobs in India and Talent Inc. in the US. For everybody who's involved, of course, you build up your portfolio as we've described with the projects that you do in the capstone. And we also provide a series of expert webinars and career development webinars that are free and available to you on a lifelong basis, regardless of where you are. But specifically in India and in US, we offer access to the respective job portals of those organizations. And we offer also resume review and rewrite service and interview prep services, both of which are extremely important because resumes today have to be written so that an AI bot can review the content and match you up with the job description, because that'll happen before any human sees your resume. And then the resume still has to have visual and textual appeal to the humans who will see it once the AI bot filters it through and passes it on. So it's important to work with somebody who can balance those two objectives. And then the same thing with the one-on-one interviews, because there's so many interviews that you go through in the process of finding a new job or finding a promotion within your company. Range from telephone screens with HR recruiters and recruiters and HR departments, I should say. And then you can move on to the technical interviews with your potential new peers and supervisor who want to know, can you do the work? Then you move on to the cultural fit interviews where people want to know, what's your work ethic? Are you a good team player? Do you fit in with the culture of the organization? All of those interviews have different flavors to them, different ways that you want to present yourself, and practicing each of those with a live interview prep helper is a really valuable thing. So we're very proud that we can offer that at least to our US and Indian learners. Um, so based on what Brian and I have shared with you so far, are you interested in enrolling in this program? I'll leave this open for about 15 seconds. It's a yes or no question. It's pretty straightforward. I'll close this in 10. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So over 80% of the audience is interested in enrolling, and I'm going to share that with you so you can see that.
Great.
And I'm going to describe that process for you. Enrollment steps are straightforward. You submit an application by emailing us, and I'm going to put the email address into the chat so that you have that available. But it's ask us at simplilearn.net. And once you do that, we'll reach out to you to verify your degree. We'll reach out to you to verify your work history and take a look at your aptitude with regard to the other aspects and your interest in Six Sigma. See in the chat now you've got that email address. The next induction session happens May 1st, coming right up, and the next classes formally start on June 10th. Classes are usually scheduled either 4 hours Sunday, 4 hours, 4 hours Saturday, 4 hours Sunday, or in some of our programs are scheduled 2 hours a weeknight for 4 nights a week. But again, those are the only scheduled times that you need to arrange to be in the program. The rest of the time you can do it on your own, whatever hours that you want to devote to it. The reason we tell you to hurry and limited seats are available is because unlike a massively open online course, uh, this isn't something where we can feed as self-study videos to as many people as sign up. This is something where instructors have to give individualized attention to the cohort members. So we try to limit the cohort sizes to about 25 to 30 people maximum so that you have the ability to interact with your instructor and they can give you the time and attention that you need to be successful. So we recommend that you contact us quickly if you're interested in getting into this cohort that starts with the classes in June. Here are the program fees. So the price in the US is $22.99, which can be financed at $203 a month, equal monthly installments. Or in India, the price is 97,999 rupee, just shy of 1 lakh, and then 8371 rupee a month for EMI financing. We recommend a couple of things. One, if you're not in India or the United States, consult with the learning accounts at ask us at simplylearn.net to find out what the price is in your local country. You'll also probably find that out on the website, and I will share that link a bit in a moment. But the other thing we remind you is if you have an employer who has a benefit of tuition reimbursement, we recommend you contact them about that because they may be able to assist you with the program cost as well. That would be dependent on your particular employer's policies. So for those of you who said you are interested or did that, for those of you who said you were interested, how soon would you want to start? Are you looking to start in that cohort that begins in May with the classes starting June? Or are you looking a little further down the road? leave this open for another 5 seconds since it's a pretty straightforward question. 4, 3, 2, 1, hit that submit button. Here are the results. So about a third of our audience want to get started either the June classes or maybe the July, August cohort. For those of you looking further down the road, we recommend that you also contact us at askus@simplilearn.net, and we'll keep you in touch with future cohort dates and also answer any questions you may still have about the program. So we recommend all of you give us a email. So gone through that process, we can go into the questions and answers now. And we have a number of questions that came in the Q&A, and you might want to take a look at those, Brian.
Sure. Yeah, we've
I'll
got
also take a look into the chat and see what's going on, but yeah.
Yeah, some good ones here. I think first one, yeah, I think Bella was saying, hey, I need this Lean Six Sigma to help boost my career. Absolutely. How different is postgraduate program project management, which also includes a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification? They're definitely going to have some commonalities. So I think, as you pointed out, Lean Six Sigma is something that we use both in project management and outside of that. But there's also going to be a much deeper look at techniques, particularly around statistical analysis using Minitab as an example. So you're going to find it's kind of going a little further in those areas, whereas project management is going to put a little bit more emphasis on how to build schedules and budget and manage risks. So, but some commonalities in Lean Six Sigma. Let's see what else we have. Some questions about schedule for live classes. That's all going to be available online at the Simplilearn site. And when the program gets started, you'll get a very easy sign up process on when the live courses are going to occur. So it makes it pretty straightforward.
I do want to mention one from the chat about resources for people who don't qualify for the 5 years of experience.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So there are other programs within Simplilearn website you can take a look at for some component courses towards this. Do want to encourage everybody to take a look at those.
Absolutely. There's so many. In fact, one of the strengths of Simplilearn is it's got this very exhaustive catalog in so many different areas. So that's an excellent suggestion.
Okay. And that especially applies to people who are students who can look at some of our other offerings that are, tailored for people earlier in their careers. What are the examination modes is one we're looking at here.
Oh, okay.
And yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things about the examinations. For the certification exams themselves, these are often sort of a proctored exam experience. They will be delivered through either the Project Management Institute or ASQ or whoever might be facilitating and managing that. So these days, Stuart and I might remember the days where we had to physically go in and write these exams in a test center. The good news is now we have a lot of online options. So you should be able to do this from in your home. But you'll get a lot of guidance on what those exam certification processes will look like. All the courses are oriented around ensuring that you can successfully pass these exams. So that's an important emphasis of everything that's delivered.
Right. All of the assessments done for the coursework within the learning platform, the learning management system, all of the assessments at the end of the courses and that type of thing are done online within the learning management system. But as Brian correctly identifies, some of these courses are designed so that you can then go to the outside certification body and take their exam. So their policies are on online versus offline, dependent on their particular setup. We have a question for somebody who asks, since this is called postgraduate, do you have to have a bachelor's degree? I still have 6 credit hours to complete my bachelor's degree in management. If you're 6 credit hours away, the policy that we have is that you can enroll in a program of this type if you are going to complete your degree before you complete this program. So if you will have your degree awarded before the 6 months of the program are up, then that you'll meet that requirement. The other requirement, of course, is you still have to have the 5 years of experience. So you need to consider that in your decision as well. How can Six Sigma help in project management? That's right up
Oh,
your
yeah.
alley, Brian. Subir asked.
Yeah, definitely. So, particularly Lean Six Sigma. So again, as a project manager, you're always on the lookout for inefficiencies, things that could delay your schedule, your budget. So a lot of these techniques and practices fit very comfortably into your project management delivery. So, all the techniques and practices we're going to learn about, how to identify waste, how to identify bottlenecks in your process, are going to be very instrumental in the project management domain. So it's got a very natural fit. In fact, if you took your project management certification, you're going to be spending a lot of time on some of these very same concepts.
Yep. Combine a couple of questions together. What are the steps in the belt levels? Is there a yellow belt before the green, or a white belt before the yellow? Or what are the actual steps in the Lean Six Sigma classification system? And the second part is, do you have to have a strong statistical background to be able to do the Minitab part of this?
Yeah. So answering the first question, actually, there is just the green and the black. At least these are sort of the very well recognized ones. You might come across a few different organizations that have some more entry level ones. But yeah, green and black are the conventional ways in which we recognize Lean Sigma expertise. And then, do we need a statistical background? No. In fact, that's going to be taught to you through the courses. Now, I'm not going to lie and say there's not some math involved. So if you're not really comfortable with math, that's not your strong suit. You are going to be using some math. But again, the focus on this should be very accessible. If you've got an undergraduate degree, I don't think you're going to come across anything that you shouldn't be comfortable with managing and learning.
Yeah, and you'll have the software provided to you through the learning management system. So while
Yes.
you're enrolled in the course, you'll have access to the software tools you need.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're at almost we're at the time limit, but I want to ask this one last question: is the program good for a construction project background?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Construction, first off, construction is one of the biggest industries in the world around us. And of course, there's so much opportunity for improvement, right? Reducing waste, looking for ways in which you can get better at work, particularly, in the commercial building space. You absolutely want to find ways in which you can get more efficient, more effective, get your buildings built faster so you can get, earn money faster, all those things. So yes, definitely very applicable to the construction industry.
Okay, and we have many more questions, but we're out of time, so I apologize for the folks whose questions we couldn't get to. But you can ask us at simplylearn.net for some of those, or reach out to me or Brian. And you can find Brian on LinkedIn
Yeah.
from Brian Campbell at 7Cs Consulting. I will now ask one last question of our audience, and forgive me if I get booted off one last time, but I'm going to try this again.
Fingers crossed.
Exactly. Um, yeah, it's going to do it.
Oh no. Okay.
Uh,
Well, all right. And if you see the question, maybe give some thought to this. Do you need some assistance with your enrollment? If you have a question.
Recording stop. Recording in progress.
Okay, here comes
It
Stuart.
brought me back.
Yay.
So I'm going to ask this one last question, which is, would you like us to reach out to you for assistance? And also, if you would like to receive a digital certificate of attendance, proof of attendance for this session tonight, please tonight, please reach out through this, answer yes, and we'll send you a proof of attendance for this particular session today. But we will follow up with an email to you regardless. Everyone will receive a follow-up email with a link to the recording of this session, as well as information on getting enrolled. And I am going to put into, as you're looking at the result of the poll, I am going to put into the chat the email address one more time, along with the URL of the program page on our website, so you'll get a chance to that link. There it is in the chat. I want to, at this point, thank everyone, especially Brian.
Thank you. Yeah.
For his generosity with his time and his knowledge. Thank you very much for that, Brian.
Yeah, thank you. Great session.
And I want to thank everybody else. I hope to welcome the Simplilearn learning community with University of Massachusetts Amherst. And that concludes our webinar.
Take care, everyone.